Hi there, welcome to another edition of The Night Sky this week for September 20th, 2021. I'm your host, Andrew Fazekas, The Night Sky Guy. Thanks so much for spending a few minutes of your time out of your busy week to learn a little bit about what stargazing is about for you, wherever you are around the world. There's always something to see. I'm broadcasting from Montreal. It's been very sunny and mild. Had a great, fantastic last couple of days of sky watching in the evening time. It's been very pleasant, cool, not much haze around. It's really been ideal. September for me here in Montreal has traditionally been a fantastic time to bring out my telescope. Not too many mosquitoes and bugs around. The haze and humidity is lower, so I don't get that dew on my equipment, which is fantastic. So nothing's really wet late at night. So I get a really great view of stars, and I hope you do too. Why don't we dive in? And first off, I've got the chat room open. Comments are coming in. Leave your comments. I'd love to see where all of you, my stargazing friends around the world, are watching from. I can see people from Turkey here, from South Africa, Texas in the United States, the UK, Southampton in the UK, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia there. In Morocco, we've got folks from Jordan joining us as well, Turkey, and Sylvan Lake, Alberta, Canada as well. Fantastic. I'm so happy you can join me for a few moments. So why don't we dive right in? We'll open up the planetarium program and see what's on tap for this week. So I've got this set up now showing us what it will look like in the evening time just after sunset, looking towards the southwest western part of the sky. And what you'll notice right away when you're looking at that part of the sky, you've probably already noticed it if you spend any time at sunset, is this fairly brilliant star hanging halfway up the sky in the southwest. It's a lone beacon, it's white color, sparkling like a white diamond. That's planet Venus. That's the second planet from the sun. Of course, the Earth is the third rock from the sun, right? So Venus is very prominent. It's usually hanging around the sun either after sunset or before sunrise in the morning. This time of the year, we've got Venus gracing our early evening skies. So check that out. You'll see Venus all week long, no problem. But what will be a little bit more of a challenge and a fun one, I think, is if you bring out your binoculars and try to spot these two smaller star-like objects, much fainter than Venus, but really cool because one of them is a bona fide star very far away from our solar system, while the other one is the innermost planet in our solar system, which is Mercury. And so that's what you're seeing here is Spica and Mercury in this image right here. I'm going to focus it right there for you. So you can see you're going to be looking basically to the lower right of Venus. Again, about, I would say, 20 minutes to 30 minutes tops after your local sunset is when you want to try to find Spica and Mercury. They're going to be a challenge because they're kind of hidden in that glare of the setting sun and at dusk. And so you want to try your hand at finding it by finding a viewing location where it's clear. You can see on this image that I have here, you got a very, very clear image towards the southwestern western horizon. So you want to find maybe a hilltop, a lakeside perhaps, a large field in front of you where you can really see low down to the western horizon. And that will give you a great chance in picking out Mercury and Spica. Now, Mercury will be slightly brighter than Spica. And Mercury is really cool because if you would see Mercury with a telescope, and I'm going to pretend here we're going to zoom in and give a telescopic view. So if you have a small telescope lying around, maybe in your closet, and here's a great opportunity to see something special in terms of what Mercury looks like up close. And if I just keep zooming in, what you'll notice here is, take a look at that. It looks like a half a moon, or what we call a quarter moon, right? But much smaller. You need a telescope to see this, but it has the same shape as a quarter moon. Isn't that neat? And this is really because of the placement of Earth in relation to the sun and our neighboring planet Mercury. Now, you can see that the right side of Mercury is lit up, and that, of course, corresponds to, makes sense, because if I zoom back out, look where the sun is, right? The sun is going to be setting right off to the right there, where it says it's Mars. You see this says Mars there? Well, don't worry. Don't forget about looking at Mars. Mars is totally gone now. It's out of view. It's very too close to the sun to see, but the planetarium program here is showing that, but nevertheless. But getting back to Mercury, now you kind of understand why it looks the way it does through a small telescope. It looks like a quarter moon because it's being lit up by the sun, which is over down here. And above it, above Mercury, you have Spica. And Spica is the lead star in the constellation Virgo the Maiden. It's traditionally a springtime constellation visible in the early evening skies, dominating the eastern sky, the southern sky throughout springtime. But now it's setting. We're losing it as we're approaching winter in the northern hemisphere. And Spica is still visible yet. You can pick it out with binoculars easily, maybe perhaps with your naked eye. I'm not sure. I don't know. I haven't been able to spot them yet, but do try that with the naked. It's a great challenge. It's easy with binoculars. And just think, Spica is a star located 250 light years away from our solar system. So it takes 250 years for the light to travel one way from the star to your eye when you're looking at it tonight. So that's really neat. And then if we look at above this group of objects, there is right above it, you can see, let me see if I can zoom out here a little bit here like that for you. Make it a little bit easier. Look at that. You see that there is another star above there called Arcturus. Arcturus is another brilliant star in the summer, springtime, dominating the southern skies, but now it's setting too. We're kind of losing the spring and summer constellations very quickly as we head into fall and winter in the northern hemisphere. And that's what you're seeing here is the last remnants of it being visible to the naked eye. Arcturus is a star 36 light years from Earth. You're looking back in time, 36 years, really amazing. Now, if we turn our attention to the southeastern sky, you'll see two other bright star-like objects, and they've been absolutely fantastic the last few days. I don't know if you've noticed, we had our, if you were out this weekend, you may have noticed that, let me just put it up a little bit, 1 hour after sunset here. This was the scene on Sunday, September 19th, just yesterday, from when I'm taping this. This was the lineup. It was absolutely beautiful. You had the moon and you had Jupiter and Saturn in a beautiful lineup in the east southeastern skies. If you saw the moon and you had clear skies, you probably saw these two star-like objects. I bet you. You can leave a comment in there if you did in fact see those. But that was Jupiter. So the brighter of the two star-like objects was Jupiter, the one that was closer to the moon on Sunday, and then the one farther away on the right-hand side was Saturn, the ringed planet. Again, if you have small telescopes, you can see a lot of detail on both of these gas giant worlds. So really easy things to see with a backyard telescope. So if you have one and you haven't tried it yet, really fun to do. See the moons and the rings and all of that. But it was a beautiful lineup with the moon near full moon. And by the way, tonight, Monday, September 20th, it's officially a full moon today on Monday. And it's called the harvest moon because it's associated with the time in the Northern Hemisphere, in North America particularly, when farmers needed that extra bit of light from the full moon during harvest time to bring in those crops on their farms. And they were using that strong, beautiful, silvery moonlight. So this is something really fun to see. Let me turn my attention to the comments here. Colleen says she saw them both. So you did. That's fantastic. Fantastic. Detsu says hi from Poland. Newt says hello from Thompson, Missouri, USA. Fantastic. Dorothy out in Sydney, British Columbia. So wonderful for you to join us. Mary Ann is in Texas watching, South Texas. That is fantastic. And who else do we have? Carol from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much for the wonderful comments too. So great of you to see us. And of course, Christelle from Marseille in France. Thank you so much for tuning in. So this was the setup, basically, guys, that you would see on Sunday night. And then tonight, we turn on Monday, the moon is farther away, has kind of drawn away from Jupiter and Saturn. But this is what you'll see for the full moon on Monday night. If you haven't seen a full moon in a while, just take a look. It's so beautiful to see that silvery orb rising above the eastern horizon soon after sunset. So on Monday, as I'm taping this, on the 20th, you'll see that beautiful harvest moon rising soon after your local sunset, wherever you are around the world. And it's just wonderful watching that full moon rise. That's the most spectacular part, I think, of a full moon. And that's what's in store for tonight. Now, what's interesting, if you look carefully with where Jupiter and Saturn are, and this is anytime this week, is you'll see that they are kind of pinning down the zodiacal constellation Capricornus. That's right here. Let me turn on the names. There we go. There's Capricornus at Sea Goat. And what you may notice, and if you have sharp enough eyes, my daughter noticed this, my 12-year-old daughter noticed this, that there were two stars she saw below Jupiter. My eyesight isn't so good, and it took me a little bit of time making sure that I don't have any stray light entering my eyesight to see this. But in fact, you can see two other naked eye stars below Jupiter. Can you see that? And that kind of marks the tail of the sea goat. And it's those two stars right underneath Jupiter. These two right there where I'm marking are visible to the naked eye. Try it out. See if you can see those two faint stars making a triangle with Jupiter. And this is visible any clear night this week. But try it out. It's a neat little eye test. And by the way, if you're wondering how bright those faint stars are, let's take a look. The one on the left is Delta Capricorni, otherwise known as Deneb Jedi. And Deneb El Jedi, that one on the left, is 38 light years away, and it shines at 2.8 magnitude. So it's clearly visible, even that makes it visible even in suburban skies. So definitely something you can see. Let me see what else there is. The other star is Nashira, and Nashira is 157 light years away, much farther away. Nashira is that the right-hand star in that triangle with Jupiter, and that is 3.6 magnitude. So Nashira is fainter than Deneb El Jedi, but Nashira is much farther away, so it kind of makes sense. And then you have Jupiter outshining the two. But take a look at that. I mean, that to me is a really fun kind of exercise. A 38 light year star, the one on the left, and 157 light years away star, Nashira. Both of them tucked in beneath Jupiter, visible in the Capricornus constellation. Any night this week. But tonight on Monday, the moon will be on the far left in a large alignment with Jupiter and Saturn. So take a look at that. That's kind of fun. Now, if we kind of move the sky into a little bit later in the week, and also let me see, in the course of the night, a couple of hours after sunset, what you'll notice too is as it's getting darker, the moon is also courted by the planet Neptune. Now, Neptune is very faint. You definitely need binoculars and telescopes to see it, but even with a binocular, you can pick it out. It's about 8th magnitude, and it's very far away. I mean, Neptune is a planet that is more than 3 billion kilometers away. And it is something that is visible, really, like I said, through binoculars or a telescope. You need that. It takes 240 minutes for the light from Neptune to reach your eye, and it's at magnitude 7.8. So it's within the binocular range, definitely, and you'll look for a greenish blue colored star. That is what marks Neptune. And Neptune, this is again on Monday, September 20th. That is where the moon will be. Now, if we kind of head into later part of the week, the moon will glide through Pisces, another zodiacal constellation, and then it'll pair up with Uranus, another ice giant planet. Uranus is a bit closer than Neptune. It is 2.8 billion kilometers away. It's incredible the distances, and it takes light 157 minutes to reach your eye from Uranus. And what's interesting is that the moon will guide us, basically. This is visible on Thursday, September 23rd. So on Thursday, the moon, you'll see, is way past its full moon phase, which was on Monday, and it's what we call a waning gibbous moon, and it'll be parked right next to Uranus. And all the pair will be rising in the east later at night. So I would start we're talking about around 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock local time. Allow the moon to rise higher in the sky, and there'll be less haze and blurriness in the vision, in your vision of Uranus. So I think, it's safe to say 10 to midnight is probably your best bet. And you'll see Uranus off to the left, and it's going to be the only greenish colored star-like object. You need very dark skies to see it with the naked eye because it's magnitude 5.7. So it's literally on the edge of being able to be seen with the naked eye. And like I said, you need very dark skies to see it with the unaided eye. But binoculars, it's a cinch, even from city limits. Even if you're in the suburbs and you just go out your backyard, point your binoculars to the moon, obviously, and then to the left of the moon, far left of the moon, you will see Uranus. You'll have to pan with your binoculars. You can see this is a typical binocular view. And you see the moon is off to the upper right there, and you'll just scan with binoculars until you see a greenish colored star, and that'll be the only greenish colored star that you'll see in the sky. So with binoculars, a cinch, telescope, a cinch. Try that out. Look for Uranus next to Neptune. A really neat combination. Again, that's on Thursday. And if we move this to Friday, the moon will be even closer to the Uranus, rising together. Again, this is like around 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock local time. The pair is rising above your local eastern horizon. And the pair is really cool to be able to see together. So something fun, some challenges for this week. Definitely. It's some of these things are not the easiest to see. Some of them you can just the naked eye. That's all you need. And there's more coming next week. I've got some interesting things. Stay tuned because there's more cool things in the sky in store next week. I'll have some sky charts. And if I can get a chance to post them this week, I'll have them there. And if you're watching, whether on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, thank you so much for tuning in. I love seeing comments. I look through them after the show. And I hope if you like it, give us a thumbs up, and please do subscribe to my channels. Thanks so much. I wish all of you, of course, clear skies. Bye-bye.